Hey, you guys. Happy Thursday. And another wonderful day, actually. You know, I woke up having a good day. I'm feeling good, getting things together. I decided to move from my dining room table. I've been in my dining room table for the past 3 weeks. I said, well, I have other places in my house. Let me move over to my other place in my house. Hey, Ray. Today is another day of new introductions. You know, I'm glad that with these... Can y'all hear me? Is this music too loud? Cut that down. Hold on, let me cut this down. Well, I forgot what I was doing. It's another day of new introductions and connecting and all that good stuff. So for all you business owners on here, you know, because I have a salon, as you guys know. I got my rent statement again for last month, and it's like, hey, my salon was not open at all. We made no revenue last month. So for any of you salon owners, if y'all got anything going, like if y'all have that stuff going on, let me know how y'all are handling that situation, because I'm like, I really don't feel like giving you no money because we ain't made no money. So how am I supposed to, like, I don't want to pay you out of my pocket. I don't want to pay you out of my personal money. But yeah, that's the only thing I had going on with me today. But today we're going to be talking to Victor Jones, who is also a hairstylist in 798, a union hairstylist that works on some amazing projects that we get to talk about and all that good stuff. Oh, sorry. I'm waving hi to everybody. And all that good stuff. So we're get ready to talk to him. So I'm excited about that. And like I said before, I wanted to move because y'all been seeing that my Lauryn Hill painting for the past 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I have other stuff in my house. So I want to give y'all another view of this is my gallery wall. So it goes all the way across my whole wall. So this is a small piece of it. But how are you guys doing today? What's been going on in y'all space? How are y'all holding up in this day 263? How are y'all doing? How are y'all holding up? Do y'all have y'all drinks? Oh, so let's see. So like it starts here and it goes all the way down to the other end of the wall. But yeah. So this is one piece of it. I'll try to move as Hey, Reggie. So, yeah, I'll try to move down as the days go by. So, we're just waiting for Victor to jump in the room. And once he does, we will get this started. Get this started up. And there we go. Boom. Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
I am well. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Trying to stay sane in all of this. I heard what you were saying about salon owners and the first of the month coming up, and we're all kind of like faced with what are we gonna do next? And I was discussing it with a friend earlier, like,
Yeah,
here we
I
go.
know. When they sent it to me, I was like, okay, first of all, we've been closed for 6 weeks now.
Uh-huh.
That's a month and a half.
Yeah.
So, and I talked to them before, is that salons are not how they used to be, where you're making tons of money and all this other stuff. Salons just really are paying for themselves now. Like, we're using the revenue that come in to pay for it. We have a little extra money around us, but that have to fix something or something breaks. So it's not like we have a stash load of money set aside to be paying $6,000 rent a month. Like, it's just not there.
It's crazy. It's crazy. With the height of wig sales, you know, taking some of the salon revenue, YouTube, you know, I love it, but it's also teaching people how to do their own hair, which is, you know, great at this time that they're able to do that, but it hit salon owners very hard.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember those days, and we have a skin spa now. So we're not doing like hair, but we're still estheticians. So that's getting, you know, hit hard right now as well. because we're not open, and we're not going to open. We don't care what the government say. We're not going to open right now.
Yeah, we're not open right now neither. So I'm just looking at mine. He sent us a little letters, basically saying, "I know it's a hard time, but it's even harder to play catch up." And I'm like, "Sir."
They're not being that understanding from what I'm finding. It's like they haven't been looking at the news and haven't heard that the governor shut it down. And I know they've told salons to open back up, but then we got a whole new list of liabilities that go along with that. Like, we have to check with our insurance company to see what the liabilities are for us if someone gets sick in our facility and they can trace it back to us. It's crazy, but it's a lot to kind of process right now, along with trying to survive and trying to figure out where we're going next and into this new wave.
Mm-hmm. So basically, I just looked at that email and I closed it. So that's what
I mean. What can you do at this point? You know? Right.
So Victor, well, other than that part of it, our business owner part of it, how are you holding up in the quarantine?
In the quarantine, I'm doing quite well. You see, I'm sipping on my tea and trying to take care of my immunity and all of those different things, because if I'm not healthy, I can't jump back into whatever world we're going back into. So right now, I'm pretty much trying to like focus on my mental health, focus on keeping my team inspired, because as a department head, you have a team or a group of people that kind of like floats with you. You use some of the same people, although we hire outside of our typical group, but everybody has like their go-to key or their go-to whomever. So trying to keep those people inspired and trying to stay uplifted myself so I can kind of give them, you know, the right words of encouragement and the right guidance, and also feeding from them, and they're encouraging me as well. But I'm doing pretty well right now, trying to stay like zen and nothing meditating. You see, I got my beads and rosaries around my neck, you know, to keep me like.
So, you know, it's very interesting to know, like, I just got introduced to the whole Legacy, Vampire Diaries, that whole family probably 2 years ago. And I would have thought it was two black men behind the beauty of this. Like, you know, I'm just
hey, God, good.
Just seeing like you going to all the different times, just different genres and just the looks, all that kind of stuff. And so when I met Scott's mom, and he was like, "Oh yeah, my son and Victor's," I was like, "Black people do this?" So
So, well, most people think we only do reality shows and Tyler Perry.
Right.
And, you know, I love Tyler Perry and for what he's done for the community, what he's done for film as African Americans, even teaching a lot of of people don't know this, but the people who have the training to do other things within Atlanta came from Tyler Perry, kind of learned at Tyler Perry Studios. And we kind of learned the hard way and try to figure it out on our own, because it's not a class that they laid out of how to do what. But yeah, Black Man is running the beauty behind the Vampire Diary chain. Yeah, thanks to Julie Pleck. You know, I'm very grateful for her to have trusted me with these looks and trusted my expertise. That, you know, we go back and forth. Now, it's not easy. We go back and forth. And I love Julie Pleck, and I love other producers and that I work with, Julie Hart from and Jordan Horace from La La Land. Like, I've been lucky enough to have producers that trust me and my vision, and we go back and forth because I'm just their hands to kind of like execute their original vision. And sometimes they don't know what they want. But yeah, to answer your question, Black Man is running the hair behind Vampire Diary chain. Yeah, and Legacies and the originals for quite some time. Yeah, we've been doing it for quite some time now.
Now, when they see you guys, when you're the guys on the trailer and y'all setting up all this good stuff, and they come in, because it's a Caucasian cast basically. Yeah. So when they come in, and they be like, "Oh, so you doing my hair?" Like, just so do you get that kind of reaction?
No, actually, African American actresses do that more to Caucasian hairstylists than Caucasian hairstylists do it to African American hairstylists. Like, they think that it's fabulous. Like, I mean, come on, people have been knowing for quite some time that we the one who set the trend for certain things, and like in fashion, we don't always get our recognition, but fashion, hair, Like, come on, Bronner Brothers is here. So all of those different things from different time periods. I will say this. I'm only able to do what I do now when it comes to different time periods because I was a 90s era hairstylist. When we were doing like finger waves on top of pompadours and French rolls and with curls on the side with, you know, all kinds of craziness, banana peels. Like, I learned during that time period to be like a sculptor with hair, because I've always seen myself as an artist first. So like, I'm an artist first, whatever comes behind that, you know, I can roll with it. So that kind of set us up to be stronger when it came to jumping in different time periods and seeing certain things inside of certain books and being able to emulate it.
Now, it's funny that you said that, because I remember I went to my first Caucasian hair show. I think it was like Ice, the Ice show. And I was to the class. She was like, we're going to do this French twist, and we're going to do peels. I was like, girl, that is waterfalls with a French roll.
Hello?
And was like, what are you talking about, girl?
We've been doing that for years for $35.
And now that's a $200 updo for you. Like,
yes.
Now.
When I think about the things and the details that I've done in hair for the price range that I did, and it took like hours sometimes when you started incorporating wefts. We called them tracks back then. We called them wefts. Now, when it came to incorporating like wefts to make things fuller, like, that was real artistry.
That we
were in the middle of nothing.
And we were running to the white shows thinking that they were teaching us something new. We were like, I've been doing this.
Yeah. I always tell people who, if I come across someone is not that often, but I can tell if someone's a bit nervous because I'm a Black person. They kind of like look at the products and see if it's going to be too oily or whatever. And I've only had that happen a few times, but I kind of like let them know that in my school, there was a Caucasian mannequin that I had to learn how to do hair on. I've never seen in any Caucasian school an African-American mannequin with, you know, some kinky hair. Ever, never. Like, ever. So I'm prepared.
Right.
I don't know about...
I'm going to go ahead and take a sip before I ask you this next question.
Go ahead. It's fresh. I want to get it. So you know, you only have those first few minutes of like good hotness before it fades, you know?
So talk to me about your journey to become an apartment head. So how did you get into the business of the behind the scene business? Because are you from Atlanta?
I am from Georgia. I'm from Georgia. My family is from Lafayette, Louisiana area. Like, they kind of like populated there, and then we came to Georgia. Then they went to Detroit for a while because of the automotive industry, and then my dad's family from Philly. So I'm kind of like a little immigrant, but primarily from Georgia. Yeah. Okay.
So considering that the film industry, I mean, it's been here, but it's still new to Georgia. So how did you even get involved in the film industry here?
Oh, it's a long story. Oh my God. It wasn't a conventional way. I must say this, I must apologize to you, because I heard what you said the other day about people not calling you because they say that you're busy and assume that you're busy. I'm one of those people. I would see you and figure you're doing your own thing, and I was like, he doesn't want to come here and do this. Like,
yes, I'll come and sit my ass be right still, honey.
This isn't glamorous enough. But now that I know that, I'll call you.
There we go.
But back to my journey, I literally, because of you and Lawrence, that kind of inspired me, Miss Lawrence, inspired me. When I saw you guys walk across that television screen with high heel shoes on, being your fabulous selves, I was like, listen, I got to get out of small town nowhere, Georgia. And I know that I can do this because there are some fabulous Black men who are doing their things and making it happen. And it kind of inspired me to push forth those dreams. I've always, you know, loved theater and been in the musical theater growing up and different things. And I knew I would be in entertainment in some type of way. But when I moved into Atlanta, I was just calling friends that I knew that have done things in the industry. And was like trying to put my name out there and just waiting on that call back. And there's no rule book. Like, there's no website you can go to and apply for a job. And I had a client that was working for Tyler Perry Studios at the time. And I was like, what do you got to do? And she asked the hairstylist there, and she was like, he has to be in the union. And I was like, okay, how do you do that? And there was no answers for how to do that. Then I went to the new website, and it was not advanced. It wasn't enough, you know, click here and follow these instructions. So I was like, how do I do this? And I was lucky enough to get a call from my great friend, Anthony L. Williams, who is a designer. You might know him from Project Runway, on Project Runway. And He called me one night and he was like, listen, I had been doing his hair for a few months once I moved here. And he called me one night. He said, listen, Lawrence needs someone to come to set tomorrow for a day player, to be a day player. And I was like, oh, cool. All right, give him my information. And he sent over this call sheet talk that you guys had the other day. So funny. He called me. He sent me a text message, said, hey, baby, thanks a lot. See you tomorrow. Here's the call sheet. He sends over a call sheet, and I'm looking at the fucking call sheet, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this? It was a bunch of numbers and letters and lines, and it was an Excel sheet, and I hated Excel in college. I was like, oh my God, how do I follow this? Where's my name? Where's the arrival time? I see so many different times. I just didn't know. And I was like, what time? I sent him a text message back, afraid, because I was thinking he wouldn't know. He would think that I wouldn't know what I was doing. So I was like, so what time I'm supposed to be there tomorrow? He was like, 6. I was like, perfect, 6 a.m., going to be there, got to do it. But when I moved to Atlanta, things wasn't so peachy creamy. You know, my clientele didn't jump off at first. Mm-hmm. I had so many other responsibilities. I was really trying to do this film and television thing, and everything was behind. The rent was behind. The car notes were behind. And I literally got that call right before everything pretty much fell apart. You know, it was like praying, it's about to fall apart. I walk out of my door, 5:15 in the morning, ready. I had already Googled the time, know what time I'm going to be there. My car was not there. It was gone. It was repossessed. It was gone.
Oh, you're at 6 a.m. in the morning. Well, actually, you got to be there at 6, so you're probably up at 5 a.m. right now.
Yeah. So I called my sister, and I was like, everything is going crazy, and this is not going to happen for me. She said, don't worry about it. Come get my car. I'm going to bring you my car. You're going to get to work on time. Went to work. I walked into the trailer. Once I got to the studio, there was Lawrence Davis and Kim Kimball. And everybody knew who Kim was at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this Lawrence from a top model? Wow. And Kim Kimball, this must be like the time. Worked that day, didn't hear from anybody for like weeks or a month.
I know this happens, but isn't it crazy that you go, you work, you put in your good, nobody tell you thank you, nobody tell you good job.
You don't know. You don't know if you did a good job or not. So I'm like, did I do the right thing? You know, what's going on? And he called me back to do something else, and I wasn't available. And one day out of the blue, this wonderful producer who has been down for me since day one. She's won Emmys for Lackawanna Blues and Betsy and so many different things. Her name is Shelby Stone. Another connection that came through Anthony as well. She called me and she said, hey, baby, do you know how to do an invisible part weave? And they had just come out at the time. I had came from the Salon. And of course, in film and television, they don't know how to do this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know how to do an invisible part weave. Where do I need to go? I'm thinking it's in Atlanta. She was like, okay, I need for you to get on a plane, go to the airport, pack your bag, and come do an invisible part weave, because they hired an actress who had an invisible part weave in her hair, and now we need to fix it. And the Caucasian department head does not know what to do, and the part is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm like, okay, got you. Jump on the plane, fly to Philly, and once I get there, she picks me up from the airport, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. I don't think the producer is supposed to pick you up from the airport. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to go with it because I don't know. She said, hey, do you know how to run a department? And I said, no. She reached in her lap. No, she reached in the back, pulled something out of her bag. It's a script. She throws it in my lap. She said, here's department head one-on-one. Pull out a pen. She said the department head quit last night, or they fired her, and you're the new department head. She said, this is how you break down a script. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm gonna tell you why. Your mouth is like,
wait. So this is so you get a department head class in the car on your way to wherever you was going to.
One-on-one in the snow by an Emmy award-winning producer, from a producer perspective. Mm-hmm. This is the reason why I think that I've been successful thus far, because I got an education from a different perspective than as a hairstylist coming up or a day player coming up through the industry. And they got thrown into my lap, and I got so much backlash from union people, from people who had been doing it for years. Like, I got no support. It was like, it has come to you easy, and you do not deserve it, and good luck when you fall. But because I had a great teacher that did not allow me to fall, who did not set me up to fall, she pretty much broke down the script. Here's scene one. This is what you do. The hair changes when we go to a party, gym, exercising. Like, she broke it down to on the same day, the hair that stays the same. If she didn't sleep over at his house, her hair can change at that point. She pretty much broke it down, and I'm writing it all down. This is what a continuity picture is, right? You take it in the side, you take it in the back, and you roll with it. You keep up with everything. Here's the money. Here's the receipts. You keep the receipts. Here's like, she broke everything down from, here's petty cash. If you need more cash, you call this person. His name is this. This is his job. This is his title. This is what he's responsible for. You call this person for that. Like, I'm writing all of this down. I did not sleep that night, mind you, because I had to do this the very next day. No, not at all. I got to do this the very next day. So I'm sitting up in the hotel lobby, and I'm asking these people, like, hey, can I just stay down here tonight and just do what I need to do? And they were like, yeah, sure. You know, do what you got to do. The lobby is open to anyone at all times. So I sat in the lobby, I broke the script down, and I just kind of like went over my notes over and over and over, read the script, make sure I knew who everybody was, what character, what actors went with what character. And it was just like class all of a sudden in one night. And she knew that I was going to be there for a while. I didn't even notice, because at this point I haven't even checked into the hotel room. I literally went and checked in when it was time for me to go up and change clothing before the van picked me up the next morning. And they told me how many days that I was booked to be there. And I only had clothing for like 2 or 3 days.
And how long was the shoot?
It was a month. Yeah, it was a whole month. I had no Philly style winter clothes. Like, they had pulled me in Philly in February from Georgia. It was still nice. You know, it was like 65, 55 here. It was like below zero there. So I had to go buy new clothing. I had to have my fiance at the time send me up clothing. It was crazy. It was a crazy ride. I didn't come with enough hair equipment. I didn't come with enough of anything, but I kind of like had to reprogram my mind and buy what I could out of petty cash and keep it rolling. I was very nervous. And that actress was Keke Palmer. She was a young Keke Palmer at the time.
And what movie was this for? It
was called Brotherly Love. It was a Queen Latifah production, Flavor Unit. She was a producer with Flavor Unit at the time. She works for Common and John Legend now. Freedom Row, I think, is the name of the production company that she works for now. But at the time, it was Flavor Unit. But that was my introduction.
And you just got thrown into the depths of it.
I got thrown into the depths of it. And going on to other things, it was kind of hard for me to get my mind around, because I could hear the people in the back of my head saying that what I didn't deserve and what I shouldn't have. So I had like this thing of, I shouldn't be here, playing in my head at all time. So it made me like stronger, and it made me like try to learn everything, because I didn't want to fail. I didn't know that it was okay to fail. I didn't know that it was okay to make mistakes. So for a long period of time, I didn't even enjoy my career. Like, I was in the midst of this great career that had been set in my lap, but I was so focused on not losing it that I didn't have the opportunity to enjoy it. I look back on it now, it looks like a dream, and it feels like, you know, someone else's story, which I always give people like coming into the industry now. Like, I always tell them, take your time, babe, and enjoy it. I always try to encourage those people, bring on new people, and tell them, you know, hey, it's no big deal if you make a mistake. You know, I had to learn this way too, because I know what that feels like to not feel good enough. So I want to make sure that I don't kind of like push that energy out as well, because it comes back to you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Now, wow, I'm still amazed at your story.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind.
Good, yeah, because you was going to fix something, and at that time, did you really know how to do the physical part weed? Did you really know how to do it?
I did, thanks to the salon. We were doing them in the salon for like a few years at this time, because I think this was like 2010, and I think that may have come out around 2008 or something like that. Because I've only been in the industry 10 years. So
but you've had 10 good years.
I've had 10 amazing years, 10 overly blessed years that, you know, I was just telling my dad last night, who's 88 years old, I was telling him, you know, what God has given me, the fact that I can even sit down during this quarantine and not worry for a while, you know, it's priceless. That's why I tried my best to give. They ended up giving us 2 extra incentive checks at the end of our season that we wasn't even expecting to get. I put those to the side just to give those out to people as they need things, you know, because that's like, I'm just paying it forward, because he's been amazing to me, and I try to give, and I see a lot of people. I don't have any problem with this. I see a lot of people posting what they've given to people and all these different things and the things that they're giving, and people have been like saying what Beyonce haven't given, or what she, you know, haven't come out and said she's given. But a lot of people give without even boasting about it. You know, I feel no need, if I know what I'm doing behind the scenes. I feel no need to kind of like, I gave to do it, not to say, hey, on my Instagram, I gave, you know, $200,000 to this person, or, you know, why? You know, I mean, if you're building more money for people, like encouraging more people to pay in so you can push more out, I get it. But just to say what I've given, I'd have no need to do that. But if you do, I'm not, no judgment here.
But I'm with you. The thing is that you should do it because you want to, not because you want the recognition of doing it.
Yeah.
So now that was your first department head role, and so how does your career move from there? As far as, so did you go to the day plan, or because you built this relationship with this producer, which I've learned, because that's how I came into the industry too, is that they was like, oh, we like what you did, we're gonna hire you again for something else. So how did it work for you from there?
Well, in Hollywood, they'll say, I owe you a favor. And in Shelby's mind, she owed me a favor. She knew what she threw on me. She knew the stress of it all. Although I saw it as like a tremendous blessing and a tremendous opportunity, she knew the impact it could have down the line. I didn't even know the impact that it was having on me mentally at the time. Like how it was wearing me out. It was like a load on my back. Yeah. So she said, I owe you a favor. You know, I got you. And another movie came along, and she threw me that movie. We went out to LA, and she said, listen, we have no money. She said, all I can do is pay you. I can't put you up this time. I can't even fly you in this time. And the budget is probably like $800 for like what you're going to need for hair throughout the whole project. And you know me. All right, I got you. I literally, everything that I made on that project, I was literally paying into a Motel 6. It was a Motel 6 on Roscoe Boulevard down the street in Van Nuys, California. I'll never forget it. It smelled like cigarette smoke. I called a lady in the lobby. It wasn't a lobby, it was a window. And I was like, can I please get moved to another room that does not smell like smoke? And she was like, I can try. So she moved me to another room. It smelled like smoke, and I called, you know, I was like, okay, fine. This room smelled like smoke too. And I called to make some orders for, there's a supply chain called Friends and Namies and Nigel's, all in LA, that a lot of us order from. You know of them. So I called Friends, and I made my order for whatever I needed for that project. And they sent me a lavender candle. And that candle saved my life because it masked the smell in their room. And when I tell you it's the little things in life, that was the little things in life that kind of like, because it gave me like peace of mind that because I was losing it. I was sleeping on top of the mattress. It was a hard time. But, you know, she looked out, and she knew it was a bullshit project. And at the end of that project, she says, I owe you a favor. And I was like, okay, cool. So Lawrence reached out to me she said, I want you to call Lawrence. Do you know Lawrence Davis? And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, I worked for him like a year ago. They played for him like a year ago. He knows who I am. But I'm like, shit, I don't even know if he liked me at this point, you know, because he's even keel. Like, you don't know if Lawrence don't like you or not. He doesn't show it. So she was like, he's going to call you. And I was like, okay, cool. So she called me back about 45 minutes later, and she was like, hey, honey, have you talked to Lawrence? And I was like, no, he hasn't called me yet. She said, hold on a minute. And she hung up the phone, didn't say bye, anything. Next phone call was from Lawrence, and he was like, hey, you know, we got this amazing project. It's called Bessie. It's on HBO. It's going to be starring Queen Latifah. I I would love for you to come on and help us out with this project. And I was like, sure, I would love to. You know, what do you want me to do? Day play, da 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 da. He was like, no, I'm gonna need you in the trailer. Shelby told me that you can handle being inside of a trailer. And I was like, I got this. So I was like, what is it about? He was like, Bessie Smith is 1932 through 1946. And I was like, okay. So I went right into my books, you know, because I didn't go to Google. So I was smart enough to know that Google don't always like lead you to the correct
stuff.
Yeah. So I went to books and I started like looking in different books and ordering books, and it was taking them forever to come, and it was coming up really, really quickly. And Shelby called me back that same day, and she was like, listen, I really need you to do this. And she was like, I'm trying to set you up. She said, I told you I owed you a favor, and this is me paying you back. And she's pretty much telling me at this point, I don't have to use you anymore at this point. I'm going to set you up where you can, you know, you have enough status to do your own thing. So whatever you do at this point is up to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I kind of knew in that conversation that, okay, this is her, this is the bone. This is the bone that she's giving me back. So I knew I had to do well. And I went to looking things up, and the books was like not telling me much of nothing at the time. The books that I came across, God, I didn't know what books to buy. And as I walked on the trailer to finally meet Lawrence once again and see the layout and see what we will be doing, the key that was there named Montgomery Schuth, his nickname is Monty, older white guy, Caucasian guy, a white guy. He said, here's a book. This is my gift to you. Here's the book that'll save your life. And the book was like the Hair Bible. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. And it literally broke down every era by not only by the year, but by region, by status. Because if you were in Georgia, you're not wearing the same style as someone in New York is wearing, because they were a little bit behind. And if you were in the Midwest, you're not wearing the same style. And if you were poor, you're not wearing the same style as the rich in those times. Like, it was a whole, it broke it all down. It was like a one education within one book. And it truly blessed my life. But Bessie got me nominated for an Emmy. And that was the bone that, that Shelby threw me. She knew that that bone would, you know, get me to where I needed to be if I used it correctly. And at that point, I was like, all right, I got what I need. And I've been pushing.
So the moral that I get from your story is that you need to be ready when they call.
You got to be ready when they call. You got to be ready. You got to be humble. You have to be a sponge. Like, more than anything, I had no egos going into this. I had no ego once I got my Emmy nomination. I had no ego once I build credits. Like, it taught me really quickly, like sleeping on the floor at the Motel 6 because the bed was too nasty. It really taught me like a quick lesson. I'm so thankful for everything that happened in the way that it happened, because I went from one floor to another floor, to Dion Williams' floor, who is a makeup artist for Tiffany Haddish right now. Thank you, Dion, because she got me out of the Motel 6 to a clean floor, but she put me in another room that did not have a bed. So, but she was like, hey, it's a room and it doesn't smell like smoke. So, but the moral of the story is, you know, be a sponge. I tell people all the time, if you don't have a mannequin, I can't help you. If you're not practicing things at home, I can't help you. I started giving like free classes on Saturday. But if I called you to do something and I know it's period and you don't know how to do it, usually I'm going to set up a class or a workshop. And if anyone's on this live who has worked with me, they know that I'm telling the truth about this. I set up a workshop. It's free. You come to that workshop, I tell you what to expect. I give you a quick one-on-one in film and television. I tell you how to say stepping and what certain terms mean when coming on the trailer, coming off the trailer. I pretty much break everything down for you, and I set you up for success. But you have to take that information and then go on your own and kind of like apply it and add more to it. It's like the book doesn't stop there. So you have to keep it moving. I expect for everybody to do everything that I did when coming in under me. If I work hard, if I pave the way, and I know that those people paved the way for me and my success, kind of like, I sit on Lawrence's shoulder. Anytime I want to, and I keep this in my mind, anytime I want to cuss anybody out, if I'm having a bad day on set, or if I have an attitude about something, I want to talk to my people like they're crazy, I have to realize I'm sitting on the reputations of somebody else. For quite some time, I was referred to as Lawrence's boy. You know, that's Lawrence's guy. You're like, oh yeah, that's Lawrence's guy. So I was like, oh, I have to keep the respect of his reputation. I tell people the same thing. Like, keep me in mind when you're out here acting a fool, because I use you as you use me as a reference, and also educate yourself. So it doesn't look like I'm sending somebody who does not know what they're doing. So continue to educate yourself. Get you a mannequin and practice certain things, because it's one thing to know how to do a wave for a certain period, but there are like certain elements to those waves that take it from 2020 to 1940 or 1930 something. So it's a bit different. It's not the same thing. Look at how they did it then. Figure out ways to do it in 5 minutes or less, or 7 minutes or less. When you're in background, like cheat it in certain ways. Like I'll show you different ways how to cheat certain things. Like I'll show you how to like braid most of it down and just do a wave on the top part of it and then tuck it underneath the ear. Let's go. Like so many different things, but I expect for you to learn those things on your own too.
Now you mentioned this book, and everybody's like, "What's this book? What is this book? What's the name of this book?" So
there's so many of them. One of them is called Vintage Hairstyle, and I think the author of that is Emily Watts. Emily Watts, Vintage Hairstyling is one of them, and it's a beautiful book, and it gives you like a full breakdown. And another one is Timeless by Louise Young. Or Lewis Young. But they'll break them down, baby. It'll break it all down, teach you everything you need to know, like the position of certain bonds and you know, how to keep from shadowing. Because, you know, we'll get the teasing certain things and it looks good to us, but then you put a light behind it and you can see like straight through it. And you're like, oh, that
light is the devil, the hairstylist.
Listen, it's more than just styling hair. I tell people, this is staging. You're not in the salon. You're not. I have a department head I used to work on there at Greenleaf named T. White. He used to always say, "Baby, this ain't the salon. This ain't the salon. Like this ain't the salon." And you have to remember that you're not in the salon. Like we're just staging it for film and television. So you have to take lighting into consideration. You have to know who the lighting people are. You gotta make friends with them, because if you need to tweak certain things, I know my DP have saved me plenty of times just because it may not be you and your skill set. Sometimes a wig that does not get nourishment and you have been using it for quite some time and is not getting what it needs, it can just go razzle dazzle on you. So it is nothing you can do about it in the time frame, because last night it wasn't razzle dazzle. It decided to do this overnight, or the humidity is crazy that day. So you got to be able to like make friends with your DP and be like, hey, Roger or John or whatever his name her name is, a lot of female DPs now, whatever her name may be, listen, this is what's going on. How can you help me out with this today? I appreciate it, buddy. And go get them a bottle of wine. Like have some coof, you know? I always tell people, you know, get a little cheap bottle of wine or let me tell you, single cigars in this industry will get you a long, long way. Those single Cuban cigars, go buy those cigars and just collect them and put them in a cigar box, and you can pull them out when you need to for your gentlemen, and pull out that bottle of wine and those candles for your females who are in the industry that help you out in different ways. Your costume designer, your best friend, or it can be your worst enemy. Your makeup artist can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And it seems like you've experienced this in trailers from previous conversations.
I know, really. Well, you know what? Luckily, my last project I did, the costume designer wasn't as friendly as you need him to be with hair and makeup. But for the most part, take it back. But I've always had problems with costume designers. I've had like 2 or 3 of them that I work good with, but like it's been a mess with costume designers. But luckily, my team, I've got to work with the same people over and over again. So we have good relationships.
Yeah.
So I don't get to really have to deal with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you was naming out the different departments, because how important is it for you to understand, like be able to communicate with these departments? Because people just don't they think they're like, well, I just do hair and we're just in the hair department. We just deal with hair stuff. It's like, no.
No, my success definitely is hinged on my ability to communicate across the board. My ability to, I came into a system of totem polling. And I figured out that a lot of people, someone have made the term, said the term to me, the higher ups. And I was like, well, who the hell is that? Like, who's higher than me? Like, because I don't consider what higher ups. Like, no. And I corrected them so many times. Don't refer to a producer or somebody as a higher up. Like, no, we're individuals. And we're going to be respectful as individuals, and we're going to treat each other as like individuals. And it's higher up, lower. I'm not playing those type of games with you. So respect me, and I will respect you. So it is very important to learn who those people are. Make relationships with those people, talk with those people, learn their name. Scott always say over and over and over, you know, I'm just terrible with names, you know, Boo Boo, Honey. And I was like, no. That ain't Boo Boo. That ain't Honey. You need to figure out their names. If you need to write it on the back of your hands, it's imperative that you figure out their names, because now that with CW sexual harassment laws and in the Me Too.
Well, you might be getting a phone call. Hold on, he gonna jump back with us, you guys. But this is a lot of good information. I'm glad that y'all are listening. I'm glad y'all are taking it all in. Why do you need to come back? Oh, okay, he left. He'll be right back. Here we go. Ooh. We back.
Hey. So like I was saying, you can't even say Boo Boo and Honey and Baby. Like, it's against sexual harassment laws. So you don't get away with that anymore. And it's important that you don't call them that, and you respect them, because you just never know who will take offense to that. And learn who they are, learn their positions, and respect what they do, because in order for them to respect what you do, you got to kind of respect what they do. You know, and kind of like bounce that back and forth. When you have that rhetoric, they respect you. And those are the people, I tell people, other hairstylists don't refer me for jobs.
No.
Like, I've been referred for jobs by DPs, by ADs, other producers. It's crazy. Costume designers, because they start what they call scouting different locations before they even call and set up who the person who's going to be on hair or makeup. Like, hair is the last person that they think about. That trailer is the last thing that's on their mind. So with that being said, they're in the van riding around to these certain things, to these certain places, finding these different locations, and they can be talking to producers, or UPM and the producer can be talking to one another. And this is how I've been hired, and this is the story that I've been given. And they'll say to one another, you know, who are we going to get for hair? And the producer goes, hell, I don't know. Who do you think about? Who's the last person you work with? And they'll go, well, you know, such and such was good. I worked with her before, but I think she's busy. And the AD is in there. The DP is in that same van. Like, it's so many people riding around the second AD is in that van. And they have said, I know this dude named Victor who's killer. And they were like, you have information? Call him up. Just like that.
But because you built those relationships.
Because I was just nice, you know, and say, you know, every time someone looking at you, it's not because they, you know, think you crazy, wonder what you're doing here because you black, or they could be wondering what you're doing here because you're black, you know, and they could see that as a positive thing. Like, oh my God, he's black, he's here, he's the only black person here. At CW, I have been the only black department head I sit at a round table or a square table now, rectangular table now, and plan out episodes and different things. And even last 3 movies I've done, I have been the only black person sitting at that table. Like, and so I have to pull out my Oprah. I come in the room as one, but I come as 10,000, you know, to kind of build myself up.
Thank you for sitting at those tables for us, because I'm glad to have somebody in the room.
Wait, listen, somebody sat at that table for me. So I can't get chicken at this point and be like, oh my God, I'm so nervous, and get focused on the fact that I'm black and shouldn't be here. It's like, that's irrelevant. I came to do my job, and I came to slay. And that's what I'm going to do, because I know I got to do it for all the people that are coming in behind me. Like, I get a bad rep. I have a terrible rep with 798 Union. I love you, 798. Rose, if you're looking at Ma, I love you, Rose. Rose and I, Rose Levy, who is president of 798, it's 798 here or on the East Coast. We have sat on the phone for hours, talking from like 7:30 to like 10:30 at night. And she's been like, Victor, what is it? Why won't you join? What's going on? Because I've been eligible for quite some time, but would not join. Like I just joined a few years back. For years, eligible. I was like, nope, I don't need it. I don't want it. It's a mean girls club. They've only been mean to me. They don't like me. They haven't helped me. I have my own health insurance. I have my own 401k. I have King investment for my retirement. I have prepaid legal since I was 19. I've been paying $19.99 a month for prepaid legal. So if I need a lawyer to represent me, I have a lawyer to represent me. Like I was like, no.
And the biggest thing, I'm working, and I've been working.
And been working. Been working. I don't want to hear it. It took her to really like go back into history and tell me everything that they fought for, you know, to try and, you know, she said, I understand it's been a mean girls club. I understand that, you know, people may have used it to keep Black people out at one point. She said, Victor, I have no control over that. And she said, just because that's been your experience, that doesn't mean that that's the complete organization. And she pretty much broke down the brotherhood and the people that I love that is within the union who needs, you know, my money to fund their pension and our insurance. And so we're stronger and have a bigger number. So we're stronger. So she convinced me at that point to do it for the people that I cared about that believed in the system, even if I did not.
I'm with you on that. I just joined last year myself. I just joined that in October because I was with you. I'm like, why don't they join this? I work. You know, I have relationships with people in 798, but for the most part, like you said, hairstylists don't call me. You know, people that I work a lot with a makeup art. It's just not nice. They're just not nice.
No, they have.
I'm glad that you said that because I was trying to. When I talked to Trent last week, I said, Trent, what the hell is the problem with these people? But like you said, it's because they feel like, you know, we just got thrown in there. We don't deserve to be here, so they just treat you bad.
Yeah, so I went through a whole period of trying to prove to people that I was good enough, and I'm so thankful for this because it just made me better. I thought that I was doing it for them, but in return, it was helping me. And I see their logic. I understand where they're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I do. But at the end of the day, you can't get people to join something and come on to something when you're being mean to them and threatening them, and you're discrediting their talents because they're not union, you know. And a lot of times I've been finding that a lot of the union is like nepotized. Like I know a lot of sister brother-in-law. This is my sister-in-law, you know, she's married to my brother Helene, and you know, Helene can't do no makeup. Helene can't, brown face is gray, you know. Or Helene only knows how to do scars, and she didn't learn scars and beauty, and I got to learn how to do white hair, black hair, Indian hair, you know, everything. So it was kind of like, come on now. So when I explained that to her, you know, she got it, and we had a conversation. We kind of battled it out, and I joined. And I'm glad I did join. You know, it has its benefits. It really does. It has its benefits. And it's good to feel a part of something, especially when we're all kind of like, you know, independent artists, and sometimes you have like these certain cliques. So it's good. But I was like, okay, if I'm going to join, I got to do something for me. And I told her this. I was like, if I'm going to join, I got to be allowed to help people get in. And I don't need a whole bunch of backlash from you because I'm helping people get in. And the reason why we had our original conversation because someone had reported me. And well, this hairstylist named Coco reported me because she gets to tell her story, but I don't never out her and tell like my side of the story. If she could be bold enough to tell her story, I'm gonna tell mine. But what had happened was I was working at Tyler Perry Studios, and you know, I never gave my side of this story. I was working at Tyler Perry Studios, and this is how I met Scott. And people looked at Scott as a beauty hire. They thought that I hired Scott because he was cute. They never knew the story of how Scott got to be my right-hand man. And what had happened was I was at Tyler Perry Studios. Lawrence went off to do something else, and I bumped up at Tyler Perry Studios at the time. And when I bumped up at Tyler Perry Studios, I had a set amount of stylists that was already there that was in place, and I had a certain amount of people that I wanted to do the background that I, that was familiar. That he has a really strict policy of getting in, and so much paperwork, more so than any other studio. So I wanted to keep the same people. So Coco called me and she said, I want to be one of your regulars. And I was like, sure, that's what's up. Please stay. I don't know that many people at the time. So if anybody want to come work for me, perfect. So I called a few times and she was on other projects. And she was like, oh man, damn, I just told such and such I had to be there. And I was like, oh, no worries, baby. I'll call somebody else. And I called Scott. He was available. And he had been there back to back. And she called me and she said, hey, I got a problem with you. And I was like, what's the problem? And she said, you told me I was going to be your background person. And I was like, oh, I did, Coco. And I did want you to be my background people, but the actors are not comfortable with Scott, because we had some a group of key background nurses. We was like in this it was a scene in the hospital room situation, like a nurse's bay. And those background nurses was important. And Jamila just said, I remember this. I know, she was a makeup artist at Tyler Perry Studios at the time. And Scott was there, and I said, they're kind of comfortable with him now, but I was like, if we get extra days, where I can bring on some more people, I continue to bring you on, but I'm not bumping him because he was available and you wasn't, no shade, no tea. This was on a Friday. First thing Saturday morning, hi, this is Rosemary Levin from Union 798, ICE 798. I was just wanting to know if you had a few minute. I know it's a Saturday. I wanted to know if you have a minute to speak with me. And I was like, oh shit. And I had always heard somebody would call the union on you. And I was like, boo, 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 boo. So I was like, shit, I'm just going to tell the truth at this point. I said, listen, Rose, I don't know you. You don't know. I'm like, hey, listen, Shirley, this is Barbara. I hate to come out on a bag on you, but listen, this is what happened. Scott was here. She wasn't. I called her. She could not come. My actors got comfortable. I like, does it sound familiar to you? And she was like, yeah. And she explained to me that I'm a hairstylist, that, she wasn't just in the union as she was an active person at work. So she got that. She got what I was saying to her. And I was like, they're just comfortable. And I was like, I'm sorry. And yeah, he's non-union, but he's there. And he delivered. And he wasn't even like a great hairstylist at the time. Like, he was a makeup artist who had just finished hair school maybe like 2 years prior. And he knew blowouts and Caucasian hair, which was important for me at the time because I knew where I was going. So I was like, it's important for me to, keep that. I know black hair. I need somebody who know white hair, and I know black and white hair. So he became my person. And then when we went to the originals, when I got called to do the originals, I was the key. Lawrence was I was the department head. Lawrence was the key, and Scott was my third. Lawrence got a call from Oprah. He was like, I got a call from Oprah, but I don't want to leave you. I don't want to set you up like this. And I was like, it's Oprah. Right. I was like, you don't take your ass and get on that plane and go, because to me, you're opening up another door for us. So no, I don't want to hold you back. Somebody else he can bump up. Someone else can come in that spot. Like, there's always people waiting. You go on and open up another door. Like, I'm never going to hold somebody back that's working on me and be like, you working for me. You on my show. You can't go nowhere. Like, no, if it's a bigger opportunity, if it's a door that I have not opened yet, and you have the opportunity to open, because down the road, you can now give me a job because you've worked with Oprah or whomever, and Greenleaf was a blessing for me all the way through every season. I went from my show, from the originals, straight to Greenleaf, nonstop work, back to back, full year, $200,000 years, like back to back, because I allowed Lawrence to go without giving him a hard time. But Scott then became my key because the actors was comfortable with him. And Joe Morgan, who was the star of the originals at the time, Klaus Michelson, said, I think that you should give Scotty a chance. And I said, you do? Because I was trying to figure out how to break this to the producers, oh, Scott's not union, and he was my third. They probably going to want me to bring in somebody with a lot of more experience. So I'm trying to gather my thoughts. And And Joe said, I think that you should give Scotty a chance. I said, I think that I should too. And he delivered. He delivered. And I was like, I can teach you what you need to know when it comes to laying wigs or whatever you need to do. Like, but I need you to be a sponge, and I don't need no backlash of what you feel and how you feel at this time. It is not personal. And he ended up giving me backlash years later because he had become Scott, you know,
Right.
and I allowed him to become Scott, and we had those conversations. But when he needed to listen, when he needed to learn, when he needed to just be there and support, he did that. Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad you told this, because the thing is that people need to hear how things happen, and just to know that it wasn't just handed to people. People work for this. Like, this is how we got to here. This
Yeah.
and I get it with you what they said about being a beauty hire, because my key, that's what they said about my kid. It was like, oh, you only hire him because he kid. I'm like, no, that nigga work. He does the job. He does everything. He got my back. Like,
that Negro, light skin with green eyes, and pretty boy who could rest on those light skin and green eyes. But when I tell you, Scott will work into the sweat start that like pour down, like he would lose complete beauty and be plum red, like working hard and going hard because he wanted it. Like, and no one showed up behind him that did as great. Even to this day, I have come in Jackie Bell. Crystal Gordon has worked hard like that. Brian Butler has worked hard like that. And this new stylist, Jeremy Johnson, that I just worked with in Pittsburgh, like has worked like, but that slave labor, no complaints. What you need me to do, I stay late, blah, 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 yeah. Like, I don't quite get that. You know, that same hustle. I don't know.
And that was the next question I was getting ready to ask you. Because I find it hard too, trying to find people that want, because I'm like you. I like to set up, like I like doing this behind the scenes work, but I understand that a lot of people want to do it. So I feel like my purpose is to come in, set it up, and let me leave you over here while I go over here and let me go find another job. So I can go on. But it's hard. People want to try to take your damn job, and then two, people don't work hard enough to even show you that they can even do it.
Yeah, they all want the titles until they get the title, and they see how heavy the head is that wears the crown. And you know, Scott and I've been through this. Scott and I've been through this several times.
Put that thing on silent. I'm sorry, my friend came over here. His phone is dinging away. I'm like, yo, put your phone on silent.
It's all good. But you know, we went through this situation, and I had to like break it down. Like, listen, I gotta go do this project. You know, I need you to hold it down, and I need you to hold it down the way that I held it down, because I need you to be better than me at this point. Like, I don't need you going home early, any of this. Like, I need you to be better than me, because I need for you to convince them that you can do this so I can go open up another door. But if you can't do that, then you, not me, has just held us back. You know what I mean? And I got to break it down. I had to break it down to my styles, and he got it, that this is a group thing. Like, this is a group thing. Like, we got to move strong. This isn't about egos and titles. This is like, stay in your place and move strong with one another, because this is going to open. No one's opening these doors for us but us. So once we get these opportunities, we have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get these opportunities, because they only remember like the bad that we've done. So you have to have a certain set etiquette. You got to learn those set etiquettes. Like those old school set etiquette nuances, don't throw them out of the door. Ken Walker, thank God for Ken Walker, rest his soul, was so hard on me. He was over single ladies at the time. And you know, he would call me to do certain things, but he was so hard on me. And I was like, I don't know why this man hates me so much. And the night I got nominated, he sent me this beautiful text message saying, you know, how he was hard on me because he knew what I would be. He knew where I was going. You know, he said, the ball's in your court now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful message. But because I didn't just, he old school, he don't know what he doing. Like, some of the old school stuff is antiquated, yeah. But you gotta take that stuff and incorporate it into like the new. You can't just throw it away. You gotta come up with a logic of why you want to replace it. And if you want to replace it, you gotta replace it with something better. It just can't be because you want to buck head with the old heads. Like, no. Like Kara Rashid, and like Kara Rashid is tough makeup artist, beautiful spirit, tough makeup artist, tough department head. But at the end of the day, Kara Rashid knows what the hell she's freaking doing. Have you spoken with Kara Rashid yet?
No, I haven't.
Kara Rashid
I will.
is the T. Yeah, Kara Rashid, Debbie Young, Miss Debbie Young, the T, like head top makeup artist that's been in the industry over 25 years, got their 25-year stamp, but keep up with the trends of what's going on now and give like people who union, non-union chances, you know, like believe in it. Like Kara Rashid, she gonna hire union across the board. But if you non-union, you close, and you willing to listen, you willing to learn, and she tells you, you better become union after this. You better. Don't you put no stain on my name. And you better do it. She'll support you. And I gotta say this before we get off this thing. I know you can only go for an hour. But if you're in the process of becoming union during this time of this whole Corona situation, and you're going, oh my God, I gotta put my $3,500 up because I don't have the money or whatever, it's very important that you get in touch with Samantha Reese or Rosemary Levy and say, hey, I want to become union. I have everything I need. What's the process? What are you guys doing? Well, I still be able to apply when this is all over, because right now, Variety Magazine has sent out a first-time proposal of how we're going to go back into the film industry. Like pods, like how we got to be quarantined 2 weeks. It's the first universal studio proposal. So it's going to be very hard to hire non-union right now. It's going to be very hard to hire people for background, because we're not going to have a bunch of background right now. So if you got your hours and you holding on to that $3,500, listen, you got to call them and say, hey, what can I work out? And the union do have like payment plans, and people don't know this, but they call like hardship plans or something to that nature. I don't know if that's the correct term, but they will work on like you drop 1,000 or drop 1,500 and then make like 3 initial payments after that situation. Like like you gotta be able to get it all. Get it in
Just pull on the credit card and figure it out later, Chad.
You have to, because right now it's survival of the fittest, and you know.
So what would be your advice for that hairstylist that's ready to get to the next level, and whether it's be in a salon, whether it be on set, just what kind of this overall blanket advice could you give a hairstylist right now?
Outside of working hard, always educate yourself. Like, education is key, and your attitude is everything. Like, that spirit, get your spirit right. In this time when we're all at home, if you know you're easily flustered, if you're one of those people that'll pop off, and I was one of those people that will go from 0 to 900 in a minute, like, figure out how to meditate. Get your mind right. Figure out why, how is it so easily for someone to, like, upset you? Because your reputation can carry you a very, very, very long way, how you respond to things. Work on talking by putting your hands together and putting them in your lap. Because in confrontational times, I have to remember to put my hands in my pockets and stand up straight and look you in your eye when I'm like discussing something with you as a producer or a director, and watch my mannerisms, because they go, well, I see that you're getting up, oh, then you want to defend the fact that you're getting upset. So like, work on your inside, work on that inner beauty first, and that other stuff will come. And like, people now these days, they're hiring from spirit, and they're teaching you what you need to know. They're hiring spirit. Like, everybody's more awakened now. Everybody's in the spirit and chakra and stones, and you know, like, everybody's trying to get their mental state together. And if you're disturbing other people's mental state, and they feel as though you're some ticking time bomb, or you remind them of something that's within them, they're gonna like shy away from you. They're gonna shy away from you, and reach out to people like in the industry that you know of. Like, stop following the people with the most followers. Like, it's not always about the most followers. Like, get in contact with, get your union list. Go to 798, oxy798.com, and go on and click on and figure out who those hairstylists are and what cities they're in, and try to figure out their contact information. If you know somebody that's in the union and can get you union contact information, reach out to those people and go, hi, I'm this person, you know, I'm not union, I'm a hard worker. Send over a small portfolio right behind it, and keep reaching out to them and reminding them, because I have the intention of bringing somebody on, but then the last minute when I'm like in a hurry and the producer just told me we're just going to add 100 more background and I need to add somebody like right now. And my union people book, I'm going to go to the people that are in my mind right now. But if you just so happen to have texted me on Monday, every other Monday, and I was like, oh, such and such, you know, she's been trying to get on set. You know, it's a big background day, just people walking in the street. This is a good day that she can come on. So just do your due diligence and try to reach out to those people and be kind, man. Like even once you get in there, be kind, be humble. Like this is a lot of money at a really fast pace. So you can get the big head really fast. You can get, I made a post about where I will only go places if you can put me up into like a Four Seasons hotel. And that was my sentiment for like a whole year. And I was just on this cloud of like, what the fuck what is wrong with you? Like, stop it. But I had to check myself. But I went through that period for like a whole complete year. Well, if it ain't Four Seasons, if it ain't first class, he ain't coming. And that's not the way to be. It's just not. You got to check yourself. So that's my advice to them. Like, check yourself, be humble, be kind, be loving, help people out when you can. Always ask them once you're there, what else can you do? You know, and know that balance of like too much and not enough. You know, if you come up to the department and say, hey, you know, is there anything else you need me to do right now? We're done in background. You know, if you got some leaks or something need washing, that's fine. I can do that or whatever. And then, you know, I come up with something to get somebody a job or help you get some more hours and stay there. And so I may say yeah, or I may say no. But if I say no, leave me alone. I don't want to see you no more that day. Like, I go, no, baby, we fine. You know, just go sit in the background. We'll call you. I have Scott come back there if you need you guys to change over the looks for the next scene. You know, just stay, you know, in a place and make sure everyone knows where you are and blah, 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 blah. Leave me alone. I don't need to see. Don't come up to me 5 times. I had this one stylist came up to me about 6 times in one day. Is there anything else you can do? I see you. I hear you.
Just take a seat.
But take a seat.
And just chill out.
It's loud. Chill out. Someone said you did that to me. Yeah.
Victor,
have a seat.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your energy. Like I said, I don't understand. I'm happy that I'm doing this with everybody, like, and we're all getting to meet each other. Because I'm like, why haven't I met you? Why haven't we been hanging out? Why haven't we been seeing each other? So once it's all over, we need to get
both
together.
in the same world, but in different avenues of the same world. Yeah, but I'm glad that you're doing this and connecting with everybody. Like I say, I've been that person who has prejudged you and prejudged other stylists who have like these tremendous amount of followers and have been on TV before and like, they don't need it. But, you know, boom, Quisha down the street, you know, she called me last week. I'm going to help her out. Derek J got a new pair of Louboutins on. He good.
I need my hours and I need to keep my health insurance. So,
but I get that now. You know what I mean? Now that I'm in it, I get it. And, you know, and we all have our ups and downs. We all have different avenues that we're trying to like go into. Like I may be trying to go into like, you know, the editorial world, and you may be trying to come into film and television. But so we have the right to kind of cross over without being prejudged. So once again, I apologize for that. And if I ever have another opportunity, you're there. We good. We good.
Thank you so much, Victor.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Oh, that was an amazing conversation. I mean, he gave y'all all the information. He gave y'all the blueprint to make things happen. And, you know, just listen and follow it. So tomorrow we got Derek Blanks on the line, and we'll be talking to him about his career and photography and how he actually kind of changed the game. So I will talk to you guys later. See you guys tomorrow.